PWCC is a great way to sell your sports cards. If you're looking for a way to support the Cajun Cardboard YouTube channel, consider using the promo code Cajun, all caps, CAJUN, when you're selling your cards on the PWCC marketplace. Hey guys, Brian with Cajun Cardboard coming at you from the great state of Louisiana with another episode of NBA Past and Present with Jonathan Pixley, formerly the Grindfather. Now he is Coach Pix. It looks like he's still trying to settle on an appropriate content creator's name.
Yeah.
Where are we at?
Appropriate being the key word there. I just, the Grindfather can be misconstrued so many different ways. I kind of wanted it to be, kind of a grinded out guy, but I just didn't like the way it looked. So
it gives off horrible sexual innuendos. Did somebody say something to you? Did somebody say, hey, you may want to reconsider the Grindfather? It sounds inappropriate.
No, I just feel like as, we add tens of viewers that somebody eventually will get offended by it. And so I just want to make sure when we hit it big, which we will, that I'm not the one holding us back because of a stupid name. That's the one.
Right. 10s and 12s of viewers added every day. Okay, today's episode, now that we've lost everybody, today's episode is our top 5 NBA dinner dates. Who would we like to sit down at a dinner table with for 1 hour? I don't drink wine. You might drink wine. I know that's a big deal with NBA players now. I don't do it. My wife does it. I would drink water, because I try to stay lean. You've let yourself go. But a dinner date for 1 hour. And here's the catch, Jonathan. Here's the catch. It can be anybody in the history of the NBA, players or coaches. It also, they have to take a truth serum. Yes. So any questions you ask for that full hour, they've got to give you a truthful answer. Yep. So if there's mysteries about this or that or what happened or what do you think about this other player and you want to get the truth, they've got to answer your question truthfully. Yep. So that's what kind of throws this for a loop. Now, here's the deal. And the reason this came up is I know for a fact that you and I are for once exactly on the same page with one thing. And I was arguing with my kid about this, Cameron, and then my wife the other night, they're like, I was trying to explain to them, if I saw, you could fill in the blank. You could say Michael Jordan. I would never in a freaking million years ever ask Michael Jordan for an autograph if I ran into him. Correct. I would never ask. I don't know who's more famous than Michael Jordan. Nobody. Okay, so there's no way in the world as a 49-year-old man. I personally, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with people who do it. I personally, even if it was for my kids, would never walk up to another grown man and ask him for an autograph. That is not what I do. I would also never say, I can see taking a picture saying, hey, can I take a picture for my kid? If it was somebody my kid really loved, but I don't think I could do it. I personally don't think I would do it because if I put myself in those people's situation, for the kids, 100%. If I was a pro athlete, I would sign autographs for kids all day long. But I would not enjoy signing autographs for 40 and 50, 30, 40, 50-year-old men or taking pictures with them. It just seems weird, man. It seems like you're deifying somebody who's just another human being who just happens to be good at the sport of basketball.
Well, there's another thing. Let's add to that. I would never – I'm not a jersey wearer. Neither one of us is jersey wearers.
I'm not a face painter. I'm not a face painter.
Yeah, not just that. But I'm not wearing – I'm not wearing a jersey of my favorite player. I'm not getting an autograph. And here's the deal. You say – as a 49-year-old grown man, I've never been that way. And I know you haven't either. Like, it's just a thing to me. Like, I just, and maybe it's because, well, let's just say it. We're probably just too cool to do something like that. I mean, really, at the end of the day.
I just think we're too respectful. Like,
Right. It's just not,
it's weird.
It's not okay. It's not okay to just walk up to somebody who is probably struggles to have some sense of privacy to themselves to begin with. And invade that and go. And here's my other part. And unless you're going to sell it, which I know you're in the card business, so that's a big deal, right? Unless you're going to do something with it, like what in the world does a signature do for me? You know what I'm saying?
This is where it's weird because people are going to be looking at the screen and listening to me talk, and they're like, dude, you collect pictures of Michael Jordan on cardboard. I'm like, I do, but that's sort of It's
art.
just different. It's not invasive. I don't think it's that's more of a quest. It's more of a hobby, an addiction. It's no different than collecting art.
You said it, dude. It's not invasive. That's the key.
It's just
You
not
didn't go up and ask
invasive.
that
It's a person.
individual.
Yeah, it's
Right.
something I do in a community of other people who do the same thing. But like if I collected art, I wouldn't, go ask to take a picture. I mean, shit, I listen to Pearl Jam, but I'm not going to ask Eddie Vedder for his autograph. He's a man. I'm a man.
Right.
Believe it or not, we're probably all going to the same place when we're done with this. It's just weird, like to me. Like it just seems odd. I don't know.
Well, the other part is it would be different to me, and this is where you would come in. If let's say it's an autographed basketball by Michael Jordan, and you felt like you could buy it and then flip it for something for a profit, that's totally different. That's a piece of art, similar type deal, right? Like a card. But it's just the whole point. You're not going to walk up to this dude and say, "Hey, man, can I have your autograph?" You're just not going to do it.
I'm not doing it. But I would like to give him a truth serum and sit down at dinner with him.
Yes, maybe that's where the red wine comes in. Maybe that's
I wouldn't sit down to dinner to say, "Hey, man, I think you're so great. You're the greatest. Hey, you're the great." I wouldn't do that. I'm in here to get some answers. I'm in here to get some answers. Okay. We're like the Scooby-Doo of content creators. Like we're going to solve this mystery right now. We're going to get some answers. Yep. All right. So we're going to work through it this way. I'm the least prepared I've ever been for a video. I warned you about this. Okay. Yes. And I was excited about this topic. And then the week got away from me and I didn't prepare well. I do have a list and I really like my list. I feel really good about my list. I've got enough to where we were going to do 5 each. Yep. And we both put lists together somewhere to 8 to 10 because there's probably going to be obviously some overlap. And so we wanted to make sure we got 5 each in. Why don't we start with you and you tell me, and we're not going in any particular order. Tell me who you'd like to sit down with just one-on-one and just have a conversation with, at a dinner table where they have to answer every single question you ask within that 60-minute time period, honestly.
Yeah. So the interesting part about my list is there are some guys on this list that you would be like, why would you want to? Well, just hear me out.
Yeah.
Because the person is maybe not uber famous or whatever, but they have answers to stuff that I need. That's really what it comes down to. Okay. So I'm going to start with Tyronn Lue. I want to sit down at dinner with Tyronn Lue because he's got answers to a lot of stuff for me. I want to know the Shaq Kobe beef from a neutral.
Dude, this is a good one. This is a good one.
I want to know what really happened with Shaq Kobe, okay? Because if I had Shaq or Kobe, they're going to tell me their side of it at the end of the day, right? I want to know what really happened. I want to know what it was like in that circus. I want to know what it was like playing for Phil Jackson in that situation, okay? I also want to know, give me the dynamic between LeBron and Kyrie. And I want to know what happened with David, was it Blatt, right? That was the coach before Tyronn Lue. I want to know what happened in the timeout when LeBron waved off the play that Blatt called and then ended up with the ISO on the baseline, made the jumper to beat, was it Indiana, I think, maybe.
All I know after that, it was the end of David Blatt.
And it was over, okay? I want to know when you called the timeout and decided to give Kyrie the ball to win the game against the Warriors in 2016, I believe it was. I want to know what it was like the following year when Kyrie went completely off the reservation. And I just want to know those things. I also want to know.
You forgot one thing.
What's it like dealing with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, especially Kawhi Leonard? Like, is it real? Like, is there something about, like, is he really hurt? Is there some super debilitating deal?
Dude, Tyronn Lue is the linchpin. I didn't even think of Tyronn Lue. He's not even on my list. You grinded. You are the grindfather. You grinded on this. He is a linchpin, man. Oh my gosh. How about this? You left one out that's really good. Hey, Tyronn, what do Allen Iverson's nuts look like from about 6 inches away after he steps over you, hitting the game winner in game 1 of the finals?
Yeah, fantastic. Right. Why did you wear your hair the way you wore it?
Yes.
Like, why did you do that?
Yes.
Just so many things. I feel like, how there's the big deal about everybody's like 7 degrees away from Kevin Bacon. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, dude, everybody's like 2 degrees away from Toronto.
I was about to say he's 1 degree away from a lot of answers to questions that we all have.
Oh, by the way, great. There's another one. Okay. What was it like with the Wizards when Jordan came back?
Holy crap, dude. Who would have thought Tyronn Lue checks every box?
I'm telling you, dude, it's great. Tyronn Lue. I mean, come on, man. He's got so much stuff to give me.
That is fascinating.
I need more than an hour with him.
You need more than an hour, or you need to speak quickly and shorten him to like 3 or 4 word answers. Dude, Tyronn Lue is an amazing way to start. That's going to be really, really hard to top. Let me see. Let me pull from this. I'm going to go with the most obvious, and he's on your list near the top, or you didn't put him on your list because you knew he was going to be number 1 on my list.
Yeah,
and it's obviously Wilt. Okay,
yeah.
so.
Cool.
I'm going to start with Wilt, and most people are going to be like, "Oh, the women." No, I mean, yes, the women probably. I want to get truthful answers from Wilt. Not that I really care about some other dude's sex life, but it is kind of intriguing. He made the statement about being with 20,000 women, and then was it 20,000 different women? Was it 20,000 times? And then people started doing the math, and they're like, "Hold on, Wilt. I don't think you understand how time and math work and intercourse and all that." So that's one topic. But really, I just want to ask him about all the legends, Jonathan. There's so many legends. I want to ask him about the night in Hershey, Pennsylvania. And I know people have before, but I want to get into the nitty-gritty details. I've heard rumors that in the fourth quarter, the other team stalled. The Knicks stalled. They held the ball.
Yep.
And he still scored 100. I want to ask him if he thinks it was legitimate or if it was over the top the way they tried to force feed him the ball. I think that night he was maybe 28 for 32 from the line. I want to ask him how were you 28 for 32? Why couldn't you replicate that at any point for the rest of your career? Wilt would be.
I don't know about that though. Tell me this: was that before or after they changed the rule from taking off from the free throw line?
Oh, I think it was after. I think they changed that right away. No.
I'd had to. I would imagine.
That's a great question. And the question Coach Pix is asking about is you used to be able to dunk free throws.
Yeah.
And so Wilt did it, and then they're like, okay, well now we got to stop this because you're the only one that can do it. So you can no longer dunk free throws. So I got to believe it was after. I mean, somebody would have mentioned that. Somebody would have mentioned he dunked 28 free throws.
By the way, how tiring is that? Yeah. And why did he miss 4?
Right? Why didn't you dunk all 32 of them, Wilt? That would be my first question. Hey, why didn't you dunk 32 free throws?
Yeah.
Or why don't you just finger roll them? So Wilt would be my choice. About his relationship with Bill Russell, about how he really felt. I mean, we see what he says in public about, would you change it? Would you switch places? Would you be the guy with 10 rings and lesser statistics if you had to go back and do it over again? Would you be yourself, brash, dominate, break every record in the history of mankind imaginable, and stand out as a mythical figure? Or would you sacrifice some of that stuff to cut into Bill Russell's rings, and maybe y'all both have 7 or something like that? Those are the kind of questions I would ask him. The other question I'd ask him is, do you regret retiring when you retired? Because he always talks about coming back and playing at 50 and this and that. And God, can you imagine what his numbers would look like if he had not retired and just decided, you know what, I could do this till 48. I mean, he could have been Tyson Chandler, until age 48 or 49. What if he'd tacked on 10 more years of basketball? You know what I mean? I'd also ask him about his tenure as the player coach of the Conquistadors.
Yes, I think so. I also want to know what it was like whenever he allegedly outlifted Arnold Schwarzenegger whenever they were doing Conan the Barbarian, which I don't doubt was the case, but still.
Or outran Jim Brown at a dinner party in Los Angeles barefoot. Those are the things I want to ask him about. So, all right, that's me. I got Will. Well, I went blatantly obvious. You came completely out of left field and hit a grand slam home run, and you crushed it.
Yeah. So I've got some interesting guys here. Okay, my next one is Chuck Daly. I want to talk to Chuck Daly about a couple things in particular, but the Pistons deal, obviously. Did you really enjoy coaching those son of a bitches, or did you just like winning?
Son of a bitches and Dumars.
Fair enough. Yeah, no doubt. And I'm sure there were some other guys that were decent guys on the team that didn't play, but the guys that actually were in the rotation. Like, what was it like dealing with Isaiah and Lane Beer? And then the dream team is really where I want to go with him, because I want to find out, okay, first of all, tell me what it was like between you and Isaiah when he found out he wasn't going to be on the dream team, okay? And in all fairness,
Did you tell him the truth? Did you tell him the truth, which was that Jordan said, "I'll play if he goes." That's it.
Jordan said, "I'm not playing." And look, at that point, Magic was the same way with him too, and Bird was, so it's like, yeah, dude, got to have these three guys. You're out. They don't want you, And at the end of the day, like Isaiah's resume definitely warranted him being on the dream team. Okay,
clearly,
without question. But what was that like? And then what was it like dealing with the dream team? Like, tell me the true story behind that scrimmage against the college guys.
Did you stack it? Did you cheat them? Did you sit Jordan for the majority of the minutes? Did you call fouls on the other team? Why did you do it? When did you decide to do that? Oh my God.
To know all of those things. And I mean, really and truly, I just want the behind the scenes stuff, because I know they did the documentary on the dream team, but we're never going to get all the full story.
Sure.
And then I want to know the nitty gritty details of those Pistons years, man. I mean, because there had to be some crazy stuff. There really did. Like,
I would just like to talk to him about all the rounds of golf they played in Barcelona, him and Jordan. Just some of those stories. And just, yeah, I mean, ultimately, obviously we're going to get to Jordan real shortly here, but I'd like to ask other people about Jordan too, because asking Jordan about Jordan and asking other people about Jordan is two different things. Getting other people's perspective on how it was to kind of assimilate with him and kind of interact with him, as an opponent and as a teammate and on that dream team. Man, God, I can't imagine being the coach of that team.
I mean, come on, man. Really?
What if that dream team, we talk, well, we're going to have to do another video on this. We'll do a video on this. Was it 2008? Wasn't it 2008 that had the incredible Redeem team?
The Redeem team, yeah.
That Redeem team had more. Just wait. That Redeem team had more players in their prime and could play a different type of basketball. I did a video really closely looking at the two teams very early on, and I went matchup by matchup. Yeah. And it's not as big a disparity as you think.
Oh, I don't think it is either. I think here's where I'm going to go. I think the 2012 team is a problem.
Maybe it was 2012. Was it 12? I think it might have been 12. I can't remember, Jonathan.
Oh, that's the team that is a problem. Like,
yeah, maybe it was 2012.
The 96 team was loaded, but they didn't like each other, and everybody was pissed off all the time. And Lenny Wilkins.
96 team was really good because they had a Shaq, right?
And Olajuwon. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it just comes. Look, here's the deal: if Bird and Magic are in their primes on the dream team, changes everything. Yeah,
that's the issue. Bird and Magic were not in their primes. Right. Mullen in his prime? Yeah, kind of. Yeah, pretty much.
Yep. But I mean, it doesn't matter because, like, at the end of the day, that the 12 team, like, to me, the bigs for 92, and I'm counting Ewing, Robinson, Malone, and Barkley. Okay, would have destroyed the bigs on 08. Destroyed them.
But what if you don't? I mean,
that's fair. You want to play LeBron?
It would be like pace and space versus the grindhouse. I mean, you could have gone the other way. You could also say, who in the hell is Patrick Ewing going to guard if you decide to go small with that team and put Kevin Durant at the 5? You know what I'm saying?
He wasn't on 08. He was on 12. You talking about 12 or 08?
Oh, 12. I'm talking about 12 now. Yeah, I think it was 12. I think 12 is the team I'm thinking of, Jonathan. I might be wrong. I might be wrong. Okay. Yeah. Because Kobe was still around.
He didn't play on the 12 team, though.
Then maybe it's 8 I'm thinking of. Maybe it's 12. I don't know. I mean, it was I think 8 was LeBron, Melo, Kobe, Wade, Bosh, all prime.
Kid Paul, Darren Williams.
I mean, dude.
Dwight Howard, Carlos Boozer, Tayshaun Prince, and Michael Redd. But
so why do you think Ewing would destroy Dwight Howard?
I think the group of them would destroy the bigs.
Yeah.
That's all. I'm not saying like individually that Dwight Howard couldn't guard. I just think you have Robinson, you have those 4 dudes. And look, but at the end of the day, if you throw a lineup of Pippen, Jordan, Drexler, Barkley or Malone, Ewing or Robinson, I mean, that's a pretty
the deal is Pippen and Jordan guarding your perimeters. Like, if you put a little guard out there, that's an issue. Like, it's a problem because they can guard little guards. And if you put big guards out there, they can't guard them. It's like, or him, really, Jordan,
Anyhow, we're
sidetracked. We're sidetracked. Keep going. Chuck Daly. Oh, you went Chuck Daly. Okay. This is tough for me. I'm along the same lines, and this is an easier answer. I didn't realize how everybody was interrelated to Tyronn Lue, so I was thinking Phil Jackson. So I've got Phil Jackson. I mean, I'm going pure chalk on my end. Okay, I go Wilt 1, Phil Jackson 2. I'll just get 3 out of the way. 3 is Jordan, so I'm going Wilt, Phil Jackson, and Jordan.
Yeah,
that's how chalk I'm going on my end. I am not as outside the box as you. But Phil Jackson for, a million reasons. Number one, how many different drugs have you used in your life? That's the first question I would ask him, So I don't know. I feel like he worships wind chimes and maybe, I don't know. He seems like maybe he could be a wizard.
Were you high when you coached games?
Right. Or low. What were you? What were you doing, right? What were you doing? How many times was incense used in your pregame speech? Just crazy shit like that. How many books have you read, for God's sakes? Stuff like that. Phil Jackson's a fascinating character who doesn't really fit the mold of an NBA coach, to say the very least. But it's funny because another guy on my list, spoiler alert, Steve Kerr, has taken bits and pieces of Phil Jackson and incorporated them into his kind of outside the box way of managing people and managing personalities. And I think that's what makes those two guys special. Like Popovich is different than those two guys. Like Popovich, people adapt to Popovich. People come in under Popovich and everybody says the same thing. Papa's hard on me. Papa's hard on me. And then eventually they grew to respect Popovich. I think Phil Jackson and Steve Kerr go out of their way to assimilate two different players' personalities. And boy, have they had some personalities. And by doing that, they find ways to bridge tremendous egos, gaps between tremendous egos and extremely different types of people, and keep them together. Maybe not bring them together, but at least keep them together long enough to win titles. I mean, Jordan and Pippen were never going to be the same. Like, you were never going to get either one of them to be like the other one. You weren't going to change either one of those. Same thing with Shaq and Kobe. But they got them, he got them together for long enough to do serious damage and become, I think, the winningest, or at least the title-listest winningest coach of all time, along with, how many Red Auerbach get?
Red had 11. I guess Red had 10, 9 or 10, because I know Russell won 1 without
player coach, right?
Player coach, yeah. So he must have had 10, because I know Phil Jackson broke it. Didn't he break his records? He had 6 and 5. Yeah, he has 11 rings total, I think. But nonetheless, Phil Jackson's an interesting one because, and I almost put him on my list, but I didn't because I wanted to go a level deeper. That's why I went Tyronn Lue, because I always feel like the players are going to know a little bit more than the coaches do, right? And then when he coached also. But Phil Jackson has the 2 greatest duos in the history of pro basketball. Right? I mean, is that arguable? I don't know if it's arguable or not. I guess Kareem and Magic, you could argue for sure. Okay, two of the 3, let's say.
You could argue Kareem and Magic versus Kobe and Shaq. You can't. Yeah. Well, Jordan and Pippen Pippen would be the worst out of those 6 guys by far, not even close. But Jordan would be the best by far, not even close. So yeah, it's tough, man. That's you're right.
2 of the 3. So you got some serious stories in there. That you could talk about, like what was it like at the end? What were timeouts like with Shaq and Kobe? Well, that Pistons series that they got their ass handed to them 4-1 that really ended it all, right? What was that like dealing with that? So it's really cool stuff. And Phil Jackson's a good one. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
For me, you want me to go next?
Go.
Okay. For me, my next one is Jerry Colangelo. I want to know the transition from that 2004 USA basketball that lost in Athens, right? He takes over in 2005 and hires Coach K, and then they move into the Redeem team. And up until 2 years ago, he was in charge of USA basketball, I believe, and then Grant Hill took over.
Yeah.
Tell me the dynamics of all that. Like, tell me, and not just the stuff behind the scenes with all the crazy stuff and whatever, but like how much work did you have to do to acclimate yourself to what was really going on in the world in basketball? How much scouting how much did you have to know? Like, how much different was it? And then dealing, like, when you hired Coach K as the coach, did you know for a fact that a college guy was going to be able to come along and do that? with those guys.
How are these guys going to respect a college coach who's never coached a lick of NBA basketball? He's only coached children who have kids who have to do exactly what they're told. You know the drill. Coaching high school kids, Jonathan, would be completely different than coaching pros, grown men. Yeah. So that was a leap of faith, but boy, did it turn out amazing and put USA back on top of the basketball world. Lost to Lithuania recently, but you pick them to win the World Cup still?
I mean, yeah, I'll still pick them to win it, but I mean,
if you had to bet, you'd bet on them.
Yeah, I'm not surprised if they don't, though.
USA versus the field.
Yeah, I still
pick take them. USA still?
I still pick them, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're better than everybody. They should win. They're not a lot better than everybody, but they're better, I think.
Well, they're more talented, but better incorporate how they play together, how they're coached, how willing they are to move without the ball and do things. And, everybody's been singing their praises thus far. Okay, keep going. Oh, yeah. So Jordan was my 3. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. So Jordan, there's a million questions we'd ask Jordan. Is there anything in particular you'd like to ask Jordan about? The one thing I'd like to ask him about is, hey, tell me the truth about why you stepped. Was it fatigue? Is that why you stepped away to go do the baseball thing? Or was there more to it? Obviously, that's the one thing that we'll never know the answer to. We know what Jordan said. We know what other people have alleged or insinuated. I'd really like to know if his father's death was, and again, I'm not saying it is or it isn't, but I don't think there's ever been a conclusive link to his gambling or gangsters or mobsters or any of that stuff. But I'd like to know why he walked away. Was it just fatigue? And if it was, man, I get it. People always make the argument, well, if Jordan hadn't retired, he'd have won 8 in a row. We don't know that because it's a lot harder to win 8 in a row than it is to win 3, take 2 years off and win 3. Those are really different things, Jonathan. Would never being able to turn that switch off. That's really different, even for somebody as special as him. And so I'd like to ask him, I'd probably spend the whole hour talking to him about that aspect of it and how that changed his life and how he kind of hit the reset button.
I'd like to know if he knew that the following year would have been a strike-shortened season, would he have come back? You know what I'm saying?
Because he would have had that break. He would have had the break. Damn, that's a good question, Jonathan. That's a great point.
But here's the other part. And with Jordan, and I've got another guy on my list that's kind of similar to this in the same regard as, I just want to say, Michael, tell me the 3 things that have been the most important to keep hidden from public. I want to know in your career, what are the 3 things that were of uber importance for you that nobody else knew?
Yeah.
Because, dude, that dude's got some dark stuff that's going on for sure.
He and the people around him under threat of physical punishment or their lives. Yes, there are many secrets. Surrounding the great Michael Jordan for sure.
Was anything that you were a part of, did it lead to a war in another country or like something? You know what I'm saying? Like, who knows, man? I'm just telling you.
Who knows? Who knows? Did you prevent a war? Did you ever prevent a war? Right.
Yeah. My next guy would be Pat Riley. And so along the same lines as Jordan, I want to know, okay, obviously, you had Showtime Lakers that you dealt with, and then you came to the Knicks, right? So totally different styles, dealing with Jordan and the Bulls. Then you get to Miami and you're like, how did that go down? Did LeBron and D Wade, did they ever really come to you and say, because it was reported that they did, you've got to come down and coach this team as opposed to Spoelstra sticking, because, Riley came down, coached the team. They won the title in 2006 with Wade and Shaq, right? And then when LeBron came on years later, it was reported that he went up and said, no, you got to come coach this team. And Riley basically called him out and said, no, you play. He's the coach kind of deal. Like, how did that all go down? And then Riley, along the same lines as Jordan, man, just give me the 3 craziest stories that you've ever been involved with in pro basketball.
He's touched a lot of the greats.
All of it.
Almost all of them. Hey, you didn't even leave. I mean, how about just you played at Kentucky during the racist era? How bad was Rupp? Are the rumors true? Is all this stuff true? What was that like being, the great, the best white player on the whitest team in America during that racist era? I don't get the vibe that Riley was that way at all, but he had to play under Rupp. And I think that where there's enough smoke, there's fire. That Rupp
Sure.
was maybe not the most open-minded fella. Let's put it that way. I mean, wondering what that was like, especially being somebody from Louisville, Kentucky. Like those guys were, those guys are legends, man. Those guys are heroes and they're revered. People forget about Pat Riley being a great college basketball player. Of course, my dad always likes to tell me he jumped center at 6'4" and never lost a tip. Like they keep that stat somewhere. Yeah. You know what I mean? Tip win percentage. What are you drinking there? Crystal Light? Crystal Light?
A little black coffee. Black coffee.
Are you drinking black coffee?
Oh, yeah. Straight black.
You're one of those people.
Oh, yeah.
One of the most bitter tastes, disgusting. I can't even imagine putting 1 ounce of that into my body. I don't know how you do it.
Strictly for metabolic effect. That's it.
Okay.
100%.
Right.
Cocoa beans. Yeah, that's it.
Cocoa beans. I'd rather just
looking younger than you. That's the way I look at it.
I'd rather just eat the beans. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I might too, actually. Yeah.
Just give me a handful of beans and be done with it if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
All right, let me go to my number 4.
Yeah.
This is tough. I got a couple to choose from, and I got 2 left. I'm going to go. This is going to be crazy because I could go anywhere back in history. Well, let me stay with the chalk and let me just go Barkley. Let me stay with chalk and go Barkley. I'd like to ask Barkley about, his relationship with MJ. I'd like to ask Barkley about the dream team. I'd like to ask Barkley what it's like to that year post dream team. I guess it was 93. It was at 93 where the Bulls beat the Suns.
Yeah.
Okay. To be that close and to be at the absolute apex of your game, to do it, to perform as well as you could possibly imagine on the biggest stage and come to the conclusion that you're simply not good enough. Right. You're simply not good enough. And the talent around you was really, really good, but MJ just transcended, man. I mean, that was Barkley at that time was as good as any other player in basketball in the 1990s decade other than Michael Jordan. That exact moment in time, and it just wasn't enough, and it really wasn't close, was it?
It was 4-2. They had to make the game winner in game 6 and all that. But, I mean, there's always going to be close games like that. But you talking about the disparity between him and Jordan? No, it was not close.
Well, I mean, just disparity of – from that point forward, he had to know that was it.
He did, though.
That's it.
He said it after they lost the finals. He says he went home. He told his daughter, he's like, this is the first time I've ever realized that somebody was better than me. And that dude's better than me,
Yeah.
So.
Also, I want to talk to him about. I know this. I don't mean this to sound rude or derogatory. I'd literally like to talk to him about his weight and about his battle with that shit. His whole career. He obviously mastered it at one point, and I guess at some point in our lives, we get content, and then the priority that kept you from your biggest vice. If your priority dips a little bit, then your vice is right there and it sort of starts to take hold. But I bet you that's a serious battle he has. I can't imagine somebody who is that competitive, that athletic, and that dominant and that historically special is okay looking the way he looks right now.
I can't imagine either.
I know he acts like he's fine. He's comfortable in his own skin. I get all that. He's fat, jolly, and funny and says stuff off the cuff and talks first, thinks later. But I bet it bothers him, dude. I would like to just sit down at a table and just kind of talk to him about that kind of stuff too, like life stuff. He seems like he's developed into a really good human being. Like I would like to sit down. I would just really enjoy sitting down and kind of talking with him. He, of all the people on the list, a conversation with him would probably be the most natural. You know what I mean?
And most enjoyable. Yeah.
And honest to God, like of all the people on this list, if he was sitting at an airport bar waiting for his flight and I had an hour to kill and I walk up and sat down next to him, I kind of get the vibe. He might be the guy that would just have a conversation with a random 50-year-old white guy that walked up to him and started talking about shit,
I think so too. Here's the reason why he didn't make my top 5. I would have listed him if I had to do the overlap thing. But the only reason he didn't make my top 5, he's probably, like you said, he's probably the one guy that I would like to do what you just said with. Really, just hang out and talk. But I feel like he doesn't need truth serum. I feel like you could just ask this dude.
Oh, he doesn't need truth serum.
On live TV. You know what I'm saying? Like he says some of this stuff on live TV. So it's like, do I have all the answers I need out of him already? I mean, but if we're just going to sit there and BS and shoot it, I mean,
Yeah.
he's awesome. He'd be awesome.
Yeah. No, he would not be the one to choose if you're on a fact-finding mission or you wanted to reveal some great secret of NBA history. But just to chill and to sit down and chat, he'd be my guy, man. He'd be my guy.
No doubt. No doubt. My number one guy, okay, and I'm going to tell you who I left off, who I didn't get to. Dennis Rodman, for obvious reasons, okay. Doc Rivers is also one of those guys who you take to his playing career as well, and you know, through Orlando as a coach, through Boston as a coach, through the Clippers, you know, Philadelphia. Like, there's a lot of stuff that you could ask him about that would be interesting. But I'm going to go with Larry Bird as my last guy.
He was on my list. Yeah.
The reason I have him on my list is because I think I would really enjoy sitting there listening to how dry he is and how absolutely unremorseful he is about any of the things that he would say. And he would just, I don't think I'd have to say, hey, man, you got to take this truth serum. He'd be like, I don't need it. I'm going to tell you what you want. What do you want?
Would you ask him about Isaiah?
Oh, 100%. I would ask him, did that really happen? When you took over as was it the general manager, I guess, or vice president of basketball operations or whatever with Indiana, and you walked in, did you say, you're fired? And that was it. Is that really what happened? Right?
God, I hope so.
I do too. Right?
Get your shit. Get out of here.
Yeah. What was it like coaching for, I think he only coached for 2 or 3 years, right? You know, tell me your greatest, the greatest trash talk stories that nobody's ever heard.
That's what I would ask Bird about, man. Yeah. Tell me the best trash talk stories, right? Let him choose the best trash talk stories.
Yep. So anyhow, Bird would be at the top of mine. Yeah.
Bird's a great one. I'm really surprised that you didn't choose Julius Erving at no point.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to give Doc the truth serum, man. I don't want to put him in that spot. I can't do it. My God, I can't do it.
My next two, well, I've got 3 to choose from. I got Steve Kerr, Reggie Miller, and Giannis. I picked up a modern player, and I picked a modern player because, you know, we're in the moment right now, and Giannis is, you know, second or third, whatever, best player in the world. I finally come to grips that it is now Jokic. I think it was Giannis, but I think right now it is Nikola Jokic. I think he's the greatest player in the world. And I think Giannis is probably a close second, despite he can't shoot a basketball or shoot a free throw. Sure. I think because we're in the middle of it, I don't think we quite realize just how preposterous his story is. You know, being a refugee, selling watches on the street to help his parents, like, pay bills to survive and exist, sharing a pair of shoes with his brother who can't play a lick in Greece. You know, in games, he would play a game, he'd take the shoes off, give them to his brother. His brother would play, he'd take the shoes off. They had one pair of shoes. To where he is now, but by all accounts, and again, I hope it's true. I hope he's exactly who we perceive him to be, but to be like the kindest, the most gracious, the most polite, the most respectful, the most thoughtful, the most unselfish, the hardest working. He's all of those things, despite the fact that now he's a quarter billionaire. For that reason alone, like his story, his rags to riches story, I mean, from the freaking bottom to the top is just absolutely the stuff that legends are made of. They should make a Disney movie about it. Oh, wait, they did.
By the way, yeah.
Yeah, by the way.
Why Reggie Miller? Why would that be an option?
Because he is the – I don't know if you – I mean, again, I'm not comparing myself to Reggie Miller as a player, but from a personality standpoint, Reggie Miller reminds me more of myself than any player in NBA history. And that's really ironic to say because I think he's probably one of the most overrated Hall of Famers. I've always said that. Like, his numbers don't really back it up. But he reminds me the most of myself, like the way he calls games, the thoughts that go through his head, the comments that come out of his mouth. He straddles the fence between being a smartass but not being obnoxiously a smartass. He's obviously incredibly intelligent. I think he's really well-spoken, articulate, and intelligent. And obviously he was an incredible player. He is a Hall of Famer. So I don't know. I would ask him about Jordan. I'd ask him some of the same questions that I asked Barkley. What's it like to be at your absolute best and not be good enough and just know it. But then you show up to work the next day and you keep, I mean, where's the goal? Like, how do you do that? How do you manage that? And then he had some nasty ass teams, dude.
The Spike Lee stuff, the being in the Garden, beating the Knicks, all
just
that stuff.
That whole moment, all of that. He seems to be, we see all these vendettas that are still out there in the NBA. Like Jordan won't talk to Pippen or Barkley. Jordan hates Isaiah. Bird hates Isaiah. Magic hated Isaiah. Loved him, hated him, loved him. Shaq won't talk to Dwight Howard. We've got so many people that hold these grudges with Ray Allen and KG and all that shit. Reggie Miller seems to be somebody who was really treated with great vitriol by a lot of his contemporaries, but he seems to have mended all those fences, and he seems to be, he seems to have buried the hatchet with all of them.
Let me ask you a question about Reggie Miller. Do you think, and there's one name that immediately pops to mind, and I'm sure it will to you as well, but is there anybody in the history of basketball that you would not consider an all-time great that has ever been in the middle, been the focal point of more big moments than Reggie Miller?
I mean, I'm thinking of guys that have been in a focal point, but Reggie was in many, many, ultimate massive pressure situations and produced, which is why he's in the Hall of Fame. I mean, you think of Kerr hitting a shot.
There's only one guy that you could say might.
You're saying obviously not Jordan. You're talking about not an all-time great.
Right.
Maybe John Koncak?
Probably not him. Robert Horry was who I was thinking of.
Robert Horry. That's a great. Now, look.
That'd be it.
Yeah, he's really he is nowhere near Reggie Miller's caliber of player.
Well,
but you're right. Yeah.
So
great nickname, Big Shot Bob, man. That's a great nickname. Little known fact, Cajun Cardboard. Shout out to my brother-in-law. I have a brother-in-law named Robert Horry.
Nice.
Little known fact about me and my life. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Rebecca's brother's name is Robert Horry.
Y'all call him Bob?
I call him Big Shot Bob. He has no idea why. He doesn't watch basketball. So
I like it. He just goes with it. That's awesome.
He just goes with it. Hey, let's do one of these grid things. You want to do one of these grid things?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay. First, I also thought about this. Let's try to name the players that are on the screen because, they randomly put up 12 players on Basketball Reference. Do you know the girl?
No.
No clue. Nope. Rebecca Allen. No idea. Obviously, you know the next one.
Zach LaVine.
I don't know. No girls. We're not going to know any girls.
Okay, no. Rod Strickland.
Clearly. Actually, you're going to know this girl.
Is that Lobo? Rebecca Lobo?
Is this black girl here Rebecca Lobo? No. That's Carol Lawson.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I recognize her.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have guessed it.
Ooh, this is tough. I don't know who that guy is.
Is that I was going to say Haslam, but it's not.
It's not Haslam. It looks kind of like a poor man's Julius Randle, like an anorexic Julius Randle.
Yeah, it kind of does. Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Henry Walker.
Yeah, never heard of
it. Darryl Walker's cousin. All right, let's go back over here. Oh, I know this. Bottom left.
That is not Sam Bowie. That's pretty good, though. You have to admit, that's pretty good.
I think it's Sasha Pavlovich.
Oh, that might be. Good call.
Nailed it. Next to him, you got that.
Sam Perkins, obviously. What do they call him? Big Smooth? Big Smooth? Yeah.
Yeah, Big Smooth. Go ahead. Raptors.
I don't know who that is.
He's still in the league. He's probably played almost 20 years. I think he might be the oldest player in the league. Second oldest, next to LeBron.
That's bad. I don't recognize him.
I bet he's played for 10 NBA teams. He's left-handed, Georgia Tech.
Thaddeus Young?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Thaddeus Young. And then lastly,
I just realized I may have never seen a picture of Thaddeus Young.
He's been in the league like 2 decades.
I know. Look at the little bitty Wilt Chamberlain or Michael B. Jordan.
It's not Minnie Wilt.
It's not Michael B. Jordan either. No,
okay. It's not Wilt Jordan. It is DeAnthony Melton.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. All right, let's play the grid. Here we go. We're playing the grid. We suck at this. We got to do it quick, though. We got to do it quick. It's 9:27. All right.
Yep.
5 assists per game for the Miami Heat.
Okay, but hang on. We got to think about this because we don't want to guess the obvious one, right?
I know.
What about Jason Williams? You think he averaged 5+ assists for the Heat? Gary Payton also probably did.
You want to go Jason Williams and burn one? What if we get it wrong? That's the thing.
Yeah, that's a good point. You want to go? I mean,
what about Bimbo Coles?
Well, here's the deal. Hold on. You can just go. You could go Bimbo Coles for sure.
Did he do it? If he did it, that's going to be a really high score.
I think he did, man. He certainly had to, right? What about Steve Smith?
5 assists? No way. Sherman Douglas.
That's a good one. There it is.
He had to have done it.
Yeah, he had to have done it.
God, I'm going to hate myself if it's Bimbo Coles, but not. Oops.
No, don't put Sherman Coles. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right.
It's Sherman Coles. Oh, that's a home run right there. That's a big one, baby. That's a big one.
That is
Pelicans.
Well, we know Drew Holiday has done it. We know Chris Paul obviously did it. We know
Lonzo Ball did it.
Hey, your favorite player and mine, CJ McCollum, I know did it last year. Lonzo Ball. That's a good one.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's a good one. He definitely did it. I mean, yeah.
Could have done better.
Yeah.
Wizards, 5+ assists.
Okay, let's think here.
Dude, I don't think anybody. I bet you Beal's done it.
Yeah, I'm sure he has. There's no way Gilbert Arenas ever did that, right?
Well, here's the question. I wonder if they count Washington Bullets. I'd hate to guess Bullets and it doesn't.
They do.
You're sure?
Same thing for OKC. They count Seattle. Yeah.
You sure? Okay.
Positive.
Thinking about the Bullets, who were some little tiny point guard people.
Rod Strickland was there.
What about Scotty Brooks? No.
I don't think so, man.
Let's go Rod Strickland. Let's get the ball rolling.
Yep. All right.
That's good. I would have guessed more people would have got him. All right, OKC or Seattle and the Miami Heat. I want to guess
Ray Allen, but I mean, I don't know if you want to.
I want to guess Robert Swift so bad right here.
Just put Ray Allen. We at least got it. We know that
got it.
Yeah.
Pelicans and Thunder.
Pelicans and Thunder. Chris Paul.
Yeah, but I feel like Nickeil Alexander-Walker, didn't he go?
I think you're right. I don't know if he ended up. Was he with OKC?
Oh my God, it wasn't. Shit. Let's just go Chris Paul.
Man, let's just get what we know. And
yeah, I believe that. I don't know why. I thought Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Maybe he never. I thought he got traded, but maybe he didn't stay. Wizards and OKC.
Or Seattle and Washington. So I know Fred Brown played for both. Wait,
for sure.
Well, hang on.
Seattle.
He was with Seattle, I know. I'm not sure he played for Washington. Spencer Haywood, did he play for Washington ever? Because I know he ended up with Seattle. Think about those dudes back then. Sigma didn't play for Washington.
I got Eric Gordon on Pelicans Clippers.
Okay, go ahead and nail that one then.
Yeah. Heat Clippers.
Heat Clippers. Let's see. Michael Olowokandi, did he play for both?
You want to go with this?
Did he? Oh, shit.
Damn you.
I didn't say yes. I was just saying, did he? Sucks, man.
We don't know any Wizards. That's the problem. We
know a bunch. I just don't know ones that played for the Clippers too.
You know what I mean? We don't know any Wizards that played for other teams.
Yeah, dude, go with downtown Fred Brown for Clippers and I'm sorry, not for Clippers, for Wizards and
Seattle.
Yeah, try it.
Oh Lord, that one.
Yeah.
No. $395.
That is not good, my friend.
We've got some explaining to do. That's it, man. That's a horrible way to end an episode and start a day. Oof.
An episode that started with the Kevin Bacon of the NBA, Tyronn Lue, ended with that.
We started that immaculate grid game with Sherman Douglas, who was a freaking home run. I mean, that's a home run, dude. The general, for God's sake, Syracuse legend.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it, guys. Another episode in the books. Who would you like to go on a dinner date with? Are we crazy? I really, to be honest with you, I'm still absolutely astonished by Tyronn Lue. That was an amazing linchpin who is 1 degree of Tyronn Lue could get you a long way in NBA history for sure. Certainly the last 40 years at least. So, man, you should also ask him, what was it like to play for LeBron James as a coach? What was it like to coach for LeBron James as a coach? What was it like to be LeBron's assistant coach? Tyronn. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Keep collecting. Stay positive in the hobby. Peace.